Good morning, everyone. It's the 1st of May, Friday morning. You know, the New Testament, a lot of the New Testament is the testimony of the experiences of the apostles and early Christians. They say, here's what happened. That's why they call it Acts of the Apostles. Testimony is very powerful. The testimony of one's experience is very powerful. Mark 13:9 says, "But take heed to yourself, for they shall deliver you up to councils, and in the synagogues ye shall be beaten, and ye shall be brought before rulers and kings for my sake, for a testimony against them." I've been listening to a number of the testimonies of those who have been brought out of Muslim faith to the marvelous light of Jesus Christ and what they have suffered, and their testimonies are powerful. How God intervened for them when they were dying. Two girls that were thrown in the basement and water turned on, and Father tried to drown them because of their faith, and how God intervened for them, how God intervened for 3 people that were hung on crosses. God sent an earthquake and brought the crosses down, how man was poured gasoline all over him, and how the fire didn't even phase him at all. So many wonderful testimonies of God's intervention. We see that there are testimonies also all the way throughout the Old Testament of God's intervention. That's why they're so powerful. The 3 Hebrew children, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, Daniel in the lion's den, the parting of the Red Sea. In the New Testament, we see the testimonies of Christ and his miracles, the feeding of the 5,000, the turning the water into wine, the raising of Lazarus from the dead. These are all testimonies. What is our testimony? Well, my testimony is listed on sermon audio if you ever want to listen to it a couple times. How God brought me out of darkness into his marvelous light. How I'd gotten into the humanistic psycho garbage of humanism and the New Age movement, and God brought me out of it like a brand plucked out of the fire. You know, we all have our testimonies, and we should share our testimonies. I've shared my testimony around the world in social media because I believe that our testimonies speak of the sovereign hand of God in our lives. And also it shows his love demonstrated to his people, to not hold their sins against them, but to cast them as far as the east is from the west, and to give us encouragement and hope that we're one of his children. The Bible says in John 6:37, "All that the Father hath given me shall come to me, and all that come to me I will in no wise cast out." What a promise. So I would encourage you to listen to some of the testimonies from those persecuted Christians in Iran and Saudi Arabia and Pakistan and even South Africa and other Muslim countries that have been brought out of the Muslim faith into God's marvelous light, and how much persecution they suffered at the hands of their families, and others in the Muslim faith persecuted those who named the name of Christ. We may in America one day face persecution. Persecution takes all forms. I was fired from my position as a social worker because of my beliefs. I refused to place children with homosexuals, and I was terminated because of that. That's a form of persecution, isn't it? But anyway, this morning I want to encourage you to put your own testimony out there on social media. It'll be an encouragement to other people. May the good Lord be with you today in a special way, is my prayer.